Hello. Read it here. Today we're going to read a story from our /Entitle Parents. Now, for our first story. My mom turned her guest room into a nursery after I told her she will never meet my child. I am currently pregnant with my first child, and both my mom and stepdad have been terrible to me and my partner the entire time. Told us we would be unfit parents because we aren't married yet. Legitimately screamed at my partner for knocking up their little girl, even though we planned the pregnancy. They would call him every day and harass him and showing up to his work. Try to convince him to leave me, so I would have no choice but to move back in with them. It got worse as time went on. I finally decided to cut contact with them. Having a child can already be a stressful time, and having them around to make it worse was not something I was okay with. My partner and I have gone through a lot with family drama the past couple years, and having this baby has been one of the most exciting things for us. If my parents can't be nice to my partner, then they don't get to see our baby. Plus, they're the kind of people who don't wear masks in public and actively choose to be in large gatherings with no social distancing. So them seeing a newborn is out of the question. One day, I sent my mom a very detailed email of why she is not allowed to be a part of my life anymore and will not be seeing her grandchild. To make things even better, I also noted that we will be moving across the country shortly after she is born to be closer to other family members. So not only is she cut off, but we're literally moving far away and never coming back. She responded by showing up at our house at 11 p.m., screaming outside our door about how is her baby and she deserves to be there for it. I tell her to fuck off, and eventually she leaves. Months go by, and she will text me randomly asking about technical problems with her Wi-Fi router or something and needs help. Little things like that don't mean much to me, and I sent her the info she needed. My cousin also had a virtual baby shower and sent my invitation to my mom's house accidentally, so my mom came by to give it to me. Things slowly came to a point that we were fairly amicable with each other, but I still stood my ground about our boundaries and nothing else had changed. She knew this. Then she sent me a video today that blew my mind. She redecorated her entire guest room to be a nursery. Crib, changing table, $400 worth of newborn clothes, toy chest, stroller, a car seat for her car, and the list goes on. In the video, she's in tears saying, "OMG, I can't believe my baby is going to be here soon. This is where she will sleep, where I will change her little diapers. These will be her toys." Is she psychotic? Her baby? Sleeping and living at her house? What? So I call her up immediately, and I reiterate that we are still moving across the country soon, and that she will have no contact with the baby before that. Her response? "Okay, we will see about that." Genuinely confused. What part of "you will have no contact with this baby" does she not understand, or thinks will change in the next few weeks when she is born? Is she planning on stealing her from us? I am at a loss for words. Edit. I showed my partner the comments I've been getting, and I think we're starting to take this more seriously and will be contacting a lawyer on Monday. I wanted to mention a couple things to clarify as well. I have been seeing a psychotherapist the past few months strictly due to the relationship I have had with my mother throughout my life, and all of that is documented. My midwife in hospital is also very aware of the situation and the emotional stress I have been going through. So we will definitely be utilizing this in the case that she tries to sue us or call CPS. Also, due to the virus, only my partner is allowed to be with me during the birth anyway. We will be keeping things hush until after we move. We would have moved months ago if it was financially possible for us. We also spent a lot of money on my birth center here that is non-refundable. She is due in August, and our lease ends in September. We already have everything set up to move, and our other family is helping us out, just a waiting game at this point. My partner is my power of attorney if something happens to me during the birth. We are currently in a state that is against grandparents' rights. The only way she would be able to sue for visitation is if both myself and my partner were deceased. Even after we move, she still cannot file for GPS if she is living in this state. Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. Watch out. She might file false police reports about you being unfit, or about y'all abusing the baby when she arrives. Comment 2. This one freaked me the fuck out. My mom was babysitting my baby that weekend and had forgotten her cell phone. She drove home WBaby to get it and safe car seat, etc. I came home and had a panic attack. She was 3 minutes away and answered her phone right when I called. I set a boundary that if it happened again, she had to leave a note. She agreed and apologized. If she had broken into my house and stole my baby to give me rest, goddamn, I would call 911. Comment 3. This reminds me of my mother-in-law. First major issue that I had after my daughter was born was when she first took her out for an evening. We'll be back around 9, she told me. We lived with her at the time. Looking back, I don't think she actually asked, so much as told us that she was taking her. 9 came and went, and no sign of her and the baby. 9:30, I started worrying. 10, I started panicking. 10:30, I had my husband start making phone calls to anyone who might know where she could be. She had no cell phone at the time. This was 2001. Finally, around 11 or so, she called me up, absolutely furious. How dare you upset everyone? I told you I was keeping the baby for the night. You woke people up. She absolutely said 9 o'clock. I was certain of it, but then I became less certain the more she ranted. She's an expert gaslighter, and my ex-husband is too. He immediately sided with her and turned on me and berated me for not listening and for upsetting his mother. They'll be home in the morning. You should have listened better. The baby was not even a month old. This set a pattern for her where she'd just announce, not ask, that she was taking the baby, then do so. It still happens, and my daughter is nearly 19. When my ex and I separated, it was a bitter day, and he literally held me captive in our home. I had our daughter in my arms and tried to leave, and he just blocked me from door to door of our apartment while keeping the cordless phone in his pocket. He finally gave up the phone without the battery in it, and I had to put her down to put the battery back. He grabbed her up when I did and took off out the door. I ran after him, and we got outside just as his mom pulled up. He told her what was going on, as did I, and she said, "You're both ridiculous. Neither one of you deserve her, emphasis mine. I'm taking her from both of you." And then tried to do just that, backhanding me for calling 911 over the phone thing. Interesting thing, she had had a daughter who had passed in infancy. My husband insisted on naming our daughter for his late sister. She started behaving like she was the parent even when I was pregnant, even going so far as to register for the surprise baby shower she was supposed to throw me, which she invited exactly one of my family and none of my friends to. The shower didn't happen, but she still collected all of the gifts, even though we were in another state. Comment 4. This, me and my wife are currently expecting too, and I'm convinced that my MIL is going to pull this kind of shit because I haven't had work since the pandemic hit. Now, for our second story. My mom tries to convince me to go on a weekend resort vacation with me and my newborn that she is not allowed to see. This is an update to my previous post. Mom turns room into a nursery after I told her she would never meet my baby. Backstory. My mom and I have not spoken for many months now. My entire pregnancy, she was terrible to me and my partner, and because of that I told her she would not be seeing her grandchild, whom she liked to call her baby. On top of that, we would be moving across the country to be closer to other family. Her response was, "We will see about that," and then proceeded to build a nursery in her room filled to the brim with baby essentials. So I gave birth about a week ago at home, and my partner and I are so happy with our new addition. We have been quarantined since the second she was born, and our pediatrician recommended for us to keep the baby home for at least 2 months to keep her safe from the virus. My mom calls me after the birth crying about how upset she is that I didn't invite her to be present for the birth and also to congratulate me on giving birth to her baby. Then asked when she can come see her. My partner and I, along with the consult of a lawyer, agreed that my mother could see her one time through a car window, though there would be no touching or holding of any kind, just a simple viewing. So I told her this, and her response was that she would let me know when she's available, and then hasn't said a word to me all week after, which works for me because I didn't want her to see the baby anyway. We just wanted to give her a chance. This morning, I get a voicemail from her asking to go on a resort trip for the weekend. I'm absolutely baffled by this. What's going on in her mind? I don't even know what to say. There is still a pandemic, and we are quarantining with the baby. I literally just gave birth a few days ago. We haven't spoken in months, and all of a sudden she expects me to just go on a vacation with her. She's not allowed to see the baby. Even if she just wanted me to go, I'm not leaving my newborn. I'm not going to take the baby away from her father for that long, just so my mom can hang out with her. We are set to move as soon as I'm cleared by my midwife. I'm not responding to my mother, and I'm starting to think that she is either seriously trying to manipulate me or is just not right in the head. Probably a mix of both. I gave her a chance to see the baby on my terms, and she didn't take it, so that's her loss. Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. She sounds narcissistic as well as emotionally immature. She didn't get her way, so she's trying to get you to agree to things that in her mind you would agree to. My mother didn't go to my sister's baby shower because she wasn't invited to the birth. It was a planned C-section and no one but her husband would have been allowed in the room. This was 4 years ago. Also, my mom doesn't live in the same state as her. So I feel you. She's just trying to get to see her grandchild because she feels she's entitled to it. It may get worse, just hold on. Comment 2. Given that she set up her own nursery, I can't help feeling like it's a setup to kidnap your newborn. Apologies if I'm out of line. Obviously, I don't know you're a Mael. Nut that shit is just creepy. Congrats on your new bub. Stay safe. Comment 3. It seems as if you're going no contact by parts, and you need to decide one way or another. If you're serious about your mother not being part of the baby's life, you need to cut her off completely. That means she doesn't know where you live, you block her calls and emails, the whole 9 yards. Right now, every time you talk to her about it and agree to one little thing, you give hope to her delusions. Did you really believe she was going to just look at your kid through a car window? Comment 4. Okay, as a mom, she should know how vulnerable a child is when it's born unless she was dropped on her head, which she probably was. During COVID, the two most vulnerable people are the elderly and very young children, which your child classifies. So she is just a complete idiot. Now, for our third story. I gave my mom one chance to see her only grandchild, and she turned it down because it wasn't a good enough offer. I have a bad relationship with my mother, to say the least. She has been terrible to my partner and on my entire pregnancy. I wrote an update about the things she was doing, like building a nursery in her room, when I told her she wasn't going to see my baby a few days ago, but I finally got a response from her regarding the one viewing we were going to allow for her, and I just had to post about it. Due to the virus, our pediatrician recommended that we quarantine the newborn for 2 months. My mother knew this. I told her many times. She refused to stay home, to get tested, to wear masks, or do anything really. It's her way or the highway in her mind, but not in reality. And boy, did she get a wake-up call today. As of recently, I gave her the opportunity to view the baby through a car window. She seemed fine with it and said she would let me know when she was available. She was abiding to my boundaries? Quite shocking. Then 2 weeks pass and I hear nothing from her. Until this morning. She asked me when she can see her baby and that it's almost been 3 weeks and she hasn't held her. I laugh. I knew this was going to happen. I tell her she's in quarantine and no one but me and her dad can touch her. That she can see her through a window or not at all. She responds, I think I'll pass on the window. Let me know when I can hold my baby. I laugh again. This woman will not stop. I'm fed up. My pregnancy hormones are gone. My baby is here. We are moving away in a matter of weeks, and she will never find us. If she thinks she has any power here, she is dead wrong. So I send one last message to her and say, okay, no window then. Maybe when she's 18, she will reach out to you. And blocked. Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. Hopefully, the final sentence is true and that she's blocked. This relationship is toxic for whatever reason. I've also read some previous posts, but once a relationship has gone that way, it's either fix it or walk away. You have a new child, so put your energy into that. Don't spend any more on someone like that. Comment 2. Given the creepy things she said in the past about the baby being hers, and we'll see a response to she's never going to see her, I would be afraid to even meet her through a car window. She sounds unstable enough to try and force the car door open and kidnap her. Comment 3. Let me know when I can hold my baby. It's not your baby, so never. And the same applies to my baby. I believe I told you last week that she wasn't going to abide by your conditions. I still think you should consider a restraining order on her. She's delusional and won't stop. She may even try kidnapping. Comment 4. Honestly, your mom is entitled, but after reading all the posts you made, you tangle the carrot a lot. Some of your boundaries are more power moves than actual boundaries. It's like you want to show her off, and it's not healthy. Just accept who she is. Don't expect anything more than what she normally does. And if she is toxic to your life, just cut her off. I know it's hard because no matter what, we do want love from our parents, but you are really not doing it the healthy way right now. Just a stranger on the internet POV. Now, for our fourth story. I vaccinated my child. My mother is not happy about it. I currently don't speak to my mother, nor have I for many months now. But somehow she still finds ways to butt into my life and the decisions I make for my child. My husband and I both come from anti-vax families. His side is against it, but doesn't shame us for vaccinating our daughter. My mother, however, really has a lot to say about it. Since we both were raised to not believe in science, it was pretty natural for us to be against vaccinating our daughter when she was born. I had a home birth, so it was easy to avoid everything. We would lie to pediatricians about it, and just did what our parents did when we were kids. But since the new vaccine for COVID was released, I started to consider getting it and decided to do some actual research on vaccines as a whole. My husband and I made the decision to get vaccinated, as well as getting a schedule started for our 6-month-old baby to catch her up. We went in this morning to get her first shots. Everything went smoothly, and so far she seems fine. She has been fussy and sleepier than usual, but the pediatrician said that's normal and will go away in a day or two. We left feeling proud that we were able to educate ourselves effectively and set our baby up for success. Then I get a call. It's my grandpa, or so I thought. I answer, and the first thing I hear is, "When you wake up and she isn't breathing, you'll be sorry. I can't believe you did this to MY little girl." I hang up immediately and start a panic. I eventually traced it back to a family member that is a doctor. I was asking her questions about vaccines, and I told her we were going in today. I guess she told my grandpa how excited she was for us, and then he told my mom, and then boom, end of the world. Maya Mile found out later and seemed supportive given her opinions about vaccines. She told us, "It's your decision, and I trust that whatever you do is what is best for her." So I'm glad we have her to help reassure us a bit. But now I've been getting texts and calls from my mom through my grandpa's phone, absolutely freaking out, saying that she hopes something happens to her, so I will see the consequences of my actions. Also that she is praying for her, whatever that means. Ultimately, we are confident with our decision and will continue with her schedule. Although, at times we do question if we made the right decision. I'm sure everything will be fine, but my mother seriously needs to chill out. Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. What a horrible person to hope something happens to your child just to try and prove her narrative. That's absolutely despicable. Comment 2. So awful. I would never let that woman see my child again. Sorry, Mom. You wanted her to die to prove yourself right. We will no longer have a relationship with someone that mentally unstable. Comment 3. Like the uber religious. I'll be smiling down from heaven as I watch you burn in hell for whatever transgression suits the mood. Hurts to think that they feel the only way to prove how right they are is the suffering of those that didn't abide. Comment 4. There's a track by the streets based around this, saying you may like. Not sure if links are allowed here, so I won't link, but if you chuck Heaven for the Weather by the Streets into YouTube, you'll find it easy enough. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more.